Hey Steve, how you going?
Hey, how are you, Squiz? How are you? Thank you so much for having us here. Welcome our Grizzly family.
Yep, back for
That's
another one.
how exciting is this time of year? This is the time of year where we just sit back and we realise rugby league football's back on our screens. Are you enjoying the trials?
I did. The Bulldogs won. They beat the Knights because I was going to bring a question up to you because I haven't seen I only saw the mini snips on KO.
Yep.
Um, quick question is: did the Knights put up a second grade, third grade team, or were they just really bad?
Look, when you go to the trials, it's you put your players on there and you're just going through the motions and going through the sets. You don't want to put all your moves out and show the other teams what you're going to do because then they can formulate a
Yep.
plan. It's just get running through the motions, making your tackles, getting your lines, and sometimes coaches like to if you've got one edge spot available, they'll play the two contenders and see which one they would like better
Yep.
moving forward. So it's just going running through the motions, getting you a bit of warmth on your shoulders and making a few hits and just getting your timings right with your line speed and just getting back to that the grind, which is officiated at a higher tempo
Yep.
than what you couldn't do in your Thursday night training sessions.
Yeah. Do you know they were the first team to not score any points in a pre-season game?
Yeah. It's oh look, they had a team on paper. They should have done a lot better than what they put out there that weekend, in my opinion. However, they still got other stars not
Yep.
in their team, late withdrawals. Just the whole preparation of the season could be thrown out. They're going to Vegas, so that their minds might be thinking about, which casino they're going to put on red or black, and
Yep.
so they're just all the excitement, the adrenaline, and everything that's happening. Yeah, it's preseason. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yep. Right. What do you got for us for this week?
Well, we missed out on last week, and I want to recap on because the first lot of trials was only 2 games,
Yep.
and I guess what I love about trials, and this really really showcases how that the expansion is actually going to be not as daunting as what it thinks with the amount of people
Yep.
playing and sparing the league because some of the junior talent that is emerging and showcased in these trials, stepping it up with the big dogs. Gosh, there's a lot of talent. There's this Cade Reedy guy that from the Dragons that just lit up the show.
Yep.
You got Blake Moser from the Tigers that should earn a starting Guernsey. There's that West Tigers winger that just did the most acrobatic. It's almost contender for try of the year and was only in the trials, and he may not even get a starting
Yeah.
jersey for the whole rest of the year. So it's just showcases the emerging talent that we've got, and also reassures us, especially as Perth Bears fans and another expansion team with the PNG Chiefs, that we do have the skills, we do have the players
Yep.
to expand, and I can see 20 teams being a realistic option. Yes, we might be running a bit thin, but if the guns spread around to the other teams and disperse, and we'll be able to grow these beautiful young players.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Well, when you think
and that's
about
what I
it,
like about trials.
when the Bears come in 27, they're going to have juniors come through. They've already
Mhm.
signing up juniors, and the development of rugby league in Western Australia is going to go up a notch or two. It's going to pick up, and so when they
100%.
say we don't have the youth and we don't have the player, um, spread, and we don't have enough players to play first grade, I've always found that a bit misleading tactic to stop the growth because when you produce another team, you get a whole group of players that come through. You get the support network. You get more training facilities. You get more investment. You get everything. As long as it's
Yeah,
not
and
next, as long as you're not next door to another club like a WA club, the Chiefs, maybe another New Zealand club. You know,
yeah,
it's
but
it's
there's a
great.
lot of talent around there, and there's a lot of I guess, a lot of things behind the scenes for players to get to where they are that we don't know about. There's a lot of kids out there already been poached at 13, 14 years. They're being put into education systems. They've got scholarships and they're playing in top league schoolboys competitions and developing their skills and doing training camps with the big players until they get the maturity, age, size, and everything like that. So that's never going to stop. It's just which team gets them first or which team, pays the man of bickies. And I guess that's where the salary cap keeps everything in, the straight and narrow. Like last year, you couldn't go into the game going, oh, yeah, I've got the Dragons this week, I'm going to win, or I've got the Knights this week and I'm going to win. You got to always go in there with a hardened approach to go, I can't let my guard down. Even against this team, whilst in the AFL and even the NFL with their draft systems and all that type of stuff, you get blowout scores week in, week out. You can almost pretty much gamble and predict the winner. Whilst in our wonderful game, it is just so tight, so engaging. You have the occasional blowout, but sometimes it's unpredictable blowout.
Well, especially around when you have like State of Origin and the team's got a lot of their number one players out. You quite risk a blowout. In the opposite direction, where you expect a team to win, they'll end up losing. But I've got another question for you. Having a military background, do you think the Defence Force could ever field a team?
Well, funny you say that. I actually partook as an Australian Defence Force. I made the Australian Defence Force team. So it goes into three different, like a little pyramid. You got Army, Air Force and Navy, and they have a combined service kind of competition every year. They play against each other. We sometimes get a few curtain raiser games in Brisbane, Sydney and the likes, and then they select an ADF team. Now that ADF team every year plays the Roosters Dragons curtain raiser at Anzac Day, and it gets a lot of media coverage and a lot of praise. We play against predominantly New Zealand rugby league. However, we've played against the Turks and that before and other countries along the way. So there's a lot of competitions and the military actually, our Australian Military Defence Force personnel, we work in conjunction with the NRL and we send teams to Papua New Guinea and we're helping develop for the Chiefs to come in right now with training and development camps and Women's Rugby League. A lot of our women in our Defence Force, I can name a few, Julie Robinson, Meg Ward, Talisha Quinn, all defence members, all representing the Gillaroos. So there is pathways. There's a lot of opportunities, but it's just getting that.
If they had the skill level,
visibility.
Right? If they had the skill level and the players in the military, right? Not saying that they have to have all the framework in place, but could you pick a first grade rugby league team from the Defence Force that would be competitive?
Oh, look, we have issues within the Defence Force, as in we got to do our job first, and rugby's a secondary.
Just take that away. Say the Defence Force come to you and said, okay, we want to put a Defence Force team in. They're playing this weekend. They're playing every weekend. You've got everything in place. They're now signed up to play rugby league. Would they have the people, the manpower, like the 30-man squad, to compete against first grade rugby league teams? Could they do it?
First grade is in like NRL teams or first grade A grade? NRL teams. I'm going to be realistic here. Young 20-year-old Stephen would have been, let me at him. But realistically, I feel like we don't have the extreme skill sets of these players. Like we have the ability to be competitive. We've got the mongrel, we've got the foundations, but these guys have got that next tier, that extra skill set that we're just slightly lacking. But with training and the right coaching and the being amongst each other for a whole season, as opposed to having a different team every week because of postings at sea and Afghanistan and all that, it makes it very disjointed and clunky, and we're a team of individuals at times, as opposed to a collective team that work towards something. So, like we we could probably have the capability to work towards it, and there's a lot of star players that I've played with that are absolute guns, but just I feel like due to the nature of our work, we're unable to put in the time, effort, training as the elite athletes do. And that's unfortunate for the friends and that are listening. That's just my gut feel. I'm happy to put a question in the board and say, "Shut up, Scooby, you're wrong." I thought I could run it at anyone, and I weigh 20 kilos wringing wet. But that's just a mental attitude. You got to work together as a team, and I even think Q Cup and New South Wales Cup would put a number on us.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to know. I thought, well, we've got, like, I was in the Navy. We used to play against teams when the ship pulled into New Guinea. We'd go off play the New Guinea Police Force or something, or you'd be up top and you'd be playing soccer against one of the Asian teams. And
I actually pitched an idea to the NRL when I was working as a director of Navy and working with the ADF. And the idea was to go through the NRL and have an emergency services cup. So the police, the fireys, the ambos, Navy, Army, Air Force, and everyone plays each other once in a round robin game, and have a grand final at the end, and have a few curtain raiser games to the NRL clubs to promote each service and give them something back as well. So I don't know where that's gone since I've separated from the Defence Force, but if anyone's listening, I think that's a great, and that's where North Sydney Bears and my affiliation first really, really came to terms. Is the North Sydney Bears were so accommodating to us having curtain raiser games for the men's and women's teams on North Sydney Oval. They gave us their ground. They allowed us to play the curtain raiser games or just use their facilities to showcase our games to a greater audience. Opposed to just mum and dad going, "Yeah, you're awesome, Scuba."
Yeah. All right. Well, we better get into the fantasy side of things.
Fantasy? That was my fantasy, living back, reminiscing the dreams. But no, they're really good questions, and there is a lot of synergy, a lot of things defence can assist with the rugby league football. But back to fantasy football, and I'll segue off. You mentioned state of origin. That is a very new, fresh change to the rules that have just been adapted this year, and there is fantasy relevance in regards to these rules and eligibility. So listeners that don't know, they've allowed the international players to play for their state of heritage. So say, for example, you grew up in New South Wales, you're born and bred in New South Wales, yet you choose to go for your heritage countries such as New Zealand, Tonga, Samoa.
Don't you have to be
unfortunately, that removes...
Don't you have to be born in that country to classify as a heritage?
No. So you can have a father, uncle, that type.
So if my mum's British, I can then play for England if I wanted to.
Yes, correct.
Oh, wow.
And before, so Victor Radley, for example, he chose his father heritage to be England, which therefore ruled him out of ever playing for New South Wales, even though he was born eastern suburbs and grew up in eastern suburbs, played New South Wales juniors and everything like that. Due to the fact that he chose to play for England, has negated his ability to represent New South Wales in the state of origin. Now this new rules comes in. Adam Fanua-Blake, Victor Radley are now available for selection for their respective states. Herbie Farnworth, unfortunately, he moved over here at 14, and the rules says you have to be here before 13. So, unfortunately, Herbie Farnworth won't be representing Queensland. I'm pretty stoked about that, being a Blues supporter. He's a good player. But,
Does it turn it into an all-stars team rather than a state of origin doing it this way? Is it?
Well, it's a state of origin. That's you're born and grew up in the state. You went to school in the state. And you want to play for your state of heritage. Country of heritage. So I actually prefer this. It doesn't allow everyone to play like Herbie Farnworths and whatnot, but it does open the window for players. And as I said before, a fantasy standpoint, players which I had in my team, I had Adam Fanua-Blake in my team. Because in that state of origin period where your players are off and not playing for their club, they are they are beneficial to your fantasy team.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't want to have a whole team of State of Origin players and come State of Origin period, and you don't have a full complement of your team to fill each week. So you've got to be selective of your Origin players in your team.
yep,
So sometimes choosing an Adam Fanua Blake or a player that is, not James Fisher Harris or something like that, that's not going to be selected for their state,
yep.
is good to have in your team.
No, that's good then.
So,
Yep,
the trials are good. A few emerging talents that have come out. Our coaches have showed a few of their hands at the moment in some of the players that are going to get selected. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring up Squizz's
yep,
team up again. And based off the trial games that we've seen prior, we're just going to rejig his team a little bit. And we're going to talk about um, some of the preparation work in for Vegas round, because round one is split over 2 weekends. So selecting your team and positioning your team
yep.
is extremely important before the game starts. And I will explain with his cues and his selection of the team as we go through. So
All right.
as you can see on the screen, he's got his team. This is what we had a little bit of a band-aid miss to fix it.
Yep.
We watch the trials and we go, oh, wasn't really keen on that guy, or that guy didn't really have the minutes or the output that I'd like, or the game plan that I like. I'm going to swap a few players around.
Yeah, I didn't
So
really get to spend much time watching the games this weekend, so
that's fun.
I only saw the one, the mini cap, which I'll be um, looking at over the next couple of weeks to see if I
Not a problem.
can
So
improve. But
um, for me, there's a couple of players that I found that are value players, and players that have actually performed well before and scored well previously, and just had
yep,
an off season, or um, just didn't perform up to the standard last year to what they normally would expect. And some of those value players we've already got in our team, like the Mitchell Moses. He
yep,
had a injury affected season last year, so his price point's a little bit lower. So he's a value player.
yep.
Um, some other players that I think are value players, and they're selected by a lot of teams for a reason. And if you look at the percentage of the players, you go, okay, why is everyone on him? Uh, they've either seen him in trials or seen some sort of advantage. And one of those that was always on my radar and I wanted to see in trials to just validate a decision was Trey Mooney from the Newcastle Knights. He played in the All-Stars game as well. And at 450K, I believe he'll at least make 150K and get 50 points per game.
Yep.
And he's playing in round one, week one of the competition. So what we'll do is we'll just see what we can do to try and accommodate him. I'd probably go Joshy Curran to Trey Mooney, because Joshy Curran is currently a bench player for the Dogs, and your minutes uncertainty there,
Yeah.
and the amount of money you're spending 566K on him with no certainty. He's in your starting mids at the moment. You could swap him out for Trey Mooney and get 116K
Could
and get
I could I say
more points.
swap Haywood out, who's a bulldoggy? He's mid 375. Put Josh
Yep, but
Curran
if
onto the
you've got the
bench.
money to do so, like you won't be able to, because he's money situation at the moment.
Oh, how much money have I got? 200. I've got 290, and then if I trade,
Oh well,
if I
yeah.
get,
If you trade him to Trey Mooney, that's a good segue right there.
so if I
Delete
swap
the
him
the
with,
red.
and
Oh yep,
then delete
the
him,
trash can,
then add
and then
him.
add. Yep, Bonza.
Yeah.
Jesse Colquhoun's listed as locked this week, so he's a really strong watch. He's got a couple of rounds in him before McInnes comes back, so
Yep.
I'm happy with those mids at the moment. Wade Egan, crafty number 9. Sam Healy on the bench, though, scares me a little bit. Is he going to lose a couple of minutes? I've gone for Kurt Donahue at the moment, but I wouldn't tell you not to get Wade Egan, because I was high on him earlier on.
Yeah.
Your edges are absolutely guns. I wouldn't even change them. A player that really really caught my eye, and played back to. He showed glimpses of how he used to score in fantasy before, and that's Nico Hotboy Hines. He's at 700,000. He started the year last year at I think 900,000, and the year before at 1 million. He is HYNES. He is when he played the game on the weekend. I think he got 60 points or 66 points. But what I like to see, and it isn't rugby league related, but he was running up to the line and just crab walking, going sideways and pushing off players. And each time he gets that, he accumulates points for a tackle break. Now, it looks like fluff when you're watching it on the TV, but those fluff converts to fantasy points.
Yep.
And I don't know, he just looked like he had that little bit of a attacking flair and mongrel about him. And at 700K as a gun half, I wouldn't tell anyone not to get him. So he's someone that I'm running in my team currently. And it's just someone that I feel a little bit more pleased having I'll probably say top 3 half out of all the halves you can choose, being Cleary, Jaden Campbell, Hines, and maybe Izzy Katoa. They're clear out and out top 4 halves.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So that's someone that I'd like to pitch to you if you can shuffle your team around to accommodate him. I wouldn't be against it. Jackson Purdue, I just don't see the points with him. He's probably someone you'd have on your bench to hopefully make points if you feel that way. But Jackson Purdue is someone that I feel is in a Cowboys team which don't look like they're going to do too well this year.
I'd be 20 grand short. 20 grand short to swap Purdue with Hines.
Oh, that's fine. There's other players that we can sacrifice, and I think Joshy Curran down to a how much is Curran? 566, 20 grand. Yeah, I'm going to give you away all my secrets here. 634. No, he's more. Have you got Lasardi? You haven't got Lasardi yet from the Storm. Oh, you do have Lasardi from the Storm. Helium Lukey or Luciana Leilua. Luciana Leilua is 430, and man, he looks fit and looks ready to destroy. So you could possibly free up some cash by dropping a Curran down to Leilua or a Helium Lukey, which is a Cowboy. And also, the Dogs have a buy in round 2, so you don't want to hold too many Dogs players.
Nah.
For me, Bulldogs players, they're a free look in round 1. You can see how they perform. You can see their minutes. And then if you have any injuries or suspensions or players you don't like, in round 3 when they come back, you could potentially just go, hey, look, I'm going to bring you into the table. But having too many Bulldogs players, especially like Carraz and Tracy, for example, in round 2, you need 2 wing fullbacks to take their place. And at the moment, you've only got Chester there. Do you see how that composition could so I would seriously consider just dropping Connor Tracy to Setu 2 when he comes in. He's going to be about 250K, I believe. I would just put Connor Tracy down to a 250K player now, just randomly as a placeholder, and then free up some cash so you can maneuver your team for now.
Yeah.
And then whatever cash you have left over, then you can add to the 250K player that you...
Yeah, because I had my team, because I knew more of the Bulldogs players, so that's why it's heavily loaded with the Bulldogs players. I knew they'd have to be filtered out, so it wasn't So
another player you can consider is Selwyn Cobbo. He looked good, 450 odd K. You could possibly bring in a centre, Leotoa, or Panasini for Carraz, save a couple hundred, or move Carraz to wing fullback, Connor Tracy to a centre. That's another option for you.
Yeah, that's
But
who did you say to replace Tracy as a wing fullback?
I would just go. There's a Setu 2 who plays for the Dragons who has scored 46 points and 50 odd points in his 2 trials, and he looks like he's not in the system yet. He should be in the system. He's not in the top 30 of the Dragons, so he'll be in the system soon. but I would just find a player of the similar price range, like a Lawson for now, for example.
In the Dragons. Yep.
Yeah, just put him down as a replacement. He's not going to get a run, but you know that as soon as Setu 2 comes in, you're going to do a straight swap to him, and that will free up a lot of cash to distribute it amongst your team.
Yeah, I've got
Farley
465.
might be out of favour as well within the Dragons.
Yeah.
And a player that caught my eye for the Warriors is Leia Tower. Sorry for the pronunciation, the Waz fans, but he looked pretty good. He's going to be a bit hot and cold at times, but value for money in
Who was
the
that?
position that doesn't. Leia Tower, the guy
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
You want me to pronounce the whole
No,
Māori team?
I've got him. Yeah, there he is. So I see 364, so I can do that and bring him in.
Yep. So that just gives you a bit more shape and a bit balance, and you're not top heavy of one single team.
What that does now, if I go Hines for all teams, I can drop Purdue out, bring Hines in.
And that looks a lot more stable. You've got Sean Russell on the bench. I didn't see that. Sorry, because my face is over the team on the left.
So my I've got the my camera in the way on my reserve bench, and I can't move it.
That's right. I would swap Sean Russell around with Lawson and just shift your bench composition around. Actually, scratch that, because I'm going to tell you something right now. Let's just say this is your team right now that you want to carry into round one. Let's say we've looked at fast forward next week. We've watched the rugby league football this weekend, and this is the team you're set on.
Yeah.
The teams that are playing round one, week one, which are the Vegas teams, which are the Cowboys, Dragons, Knights, and the Doggies. You want them in your starting team if you want to play them first.
Yeah.
The reason being is they will be locked out after they play.
Yeah.
So if you were to have them on your team and your bench, so for example, in your team right here,
I've got Couchman.
You want Curran to play?
Yeah.
I'd put Curran in over Colquhoun, because if Colquhoun doesn't get selected for the Sharks in lock position in round one, week two, you could swap Colquhoun to any other player and not be restricted to swapping him just as a mid.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you could swap Colquhoun to any other position on your bench and interchange.
Yep.
But if you had him as a mid and you had no more mids on the bench to swap them around, you would be stuck with only swapping Jesse Colquhoun for another mid of that value, and you might not get a player that is as good. As with Jesse Colquhoun, you could swap to a 250k winger, Macassini, for example, who absolutely shone the lights out, and you're not getting a red dot in your rounds and accumulating that price generation.
I've got the red dot with Lawson for the Dragons.
So Lawson's going to be Setu 2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So he's going to be there's a three-way showdown between Farley, and Tuipulotu for the wing spot.
Yeah.
And they haven't decided those arrangements yet. So we'll go through your team from start to finish. So we got Wade Egan. We'll talk about his promise. He's a crafty little hooker. He's played 80 minutes a lot before, and I feel like there's a lot of value in him. Has a good HIA in him. He doesn't mind a good head knock to the hip, and he's. I think he's undervalued and can potentially do well. But my main concern with him is Healy's minutes and role off the bench. Next player, we got Trey Mooney. We just talked about him. We got Payne Haas as the next player. Your captain, your set and forget player. It's Hakeem Haas now. He's had a name change. He's going to the Rabbitohs in 2027. Does that mean his output's going to be less? They're professional football players. Yeah. The team are going to want to send him out on a high and go back to back. Hakeem Haas is literally going to produce the same output as he does every year.
Yep.
Joshy Curran, look, I'm if that's who you want in your team, go for it. I've been wrong a million times before, but my concern is his minutes and his role. More minutes equals more tackles, which equals more points.
Yeah.
If he's on the bench and not getting the minutes and not getting the points, I feel like his price can drop and you could be in a bit of a pickle with Joshy Curran.
Yeah.
Throw in the round 2 bye and it's a little bit more concerning. However, positive news for Joshy Curran, which I just don't know the full scope, is Leo Thompson's out for 10 weeks with
Yeah.
an ankle injury. So he may get that front row gig and get those minutes again. So he may actually be good, but I need to see it for me.
Yeah.
I'm a cautious coach. Now,
Fafita.
David Fafita, we talked about him in the last episode. He's so undervalued due to the bench roles and everything he played last year. He's gonna make your money and he's gonna do well on the left side, strong side of the Rabbitohs. Next player is Hudson Young. He brained it last year. I think he's had a career year last year. I just love the mongrel on that. My main concern with Hudson Young and the Raiders is the Ricky Stewart factor. Ricky Stewart likes to chop and change players around. You've got quality forwards at the Raiders with the likes of Nicholson, Zach Hosking, Corey Horsburgh and all that. I mean, he likes to shuffle all the players around. And one player that usually doesn't get shuffled is Hudson Young. So I think you're safe with him. Moses, we talked about before. Hines, we talked about before. Jacob Carraz he's electric. He's a tackle break machine, offload machine. I had him in my team initially until the round 2 bye, and that deterred me from him. He's also potential for state of origin with this whole Zach Lomax situation digressing, but he'll be in contention with Mark Noah Kanita-Wase as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs. If he wants state of origin, he may perform a little bit more, and that might have a subsequent price scores to match his performance. Ali Leitao, I really liked what I saw from him in the trials, but again, trials don't depict everything, but it's a nice cheap centre option, and spend cheap in the centres unless you're getting Herbie or Carraz. Sua Fa'alongo this weekend gets his time to shine in the fullback jersey. Watch, reassess. If not, pivot to a Jai Gray from the Rabbitohs. Scotty Drinkwater, he's the cornerstone of the attack for the Cowboys. If he's on song, Cowboys are doing good. If not, this guy, I had him in my team for a few seasons, and he breaks your heart and he wins you. He pretty much is your Valentine's love one day, and he's a heartbreaker the next with a dumping. He can go anywhere from a score of 13 to 70. Nathan Lawson, as we discussed, he's going to be your Setu 2 from the Dragons winger. I feel like his performance has secured a spot in the wing, and it's just a person there because he's not in the system to do a straight swap to him. Your bench, you got Cheese. He's starting this weekend at hooker. My main concern with Cheese is the Peter Mamazoulis and Bronson Garlic on the bench at the moment for the Rabbitohs. What is his role? How many minutes? Is that going to affect his scoring? But at that price, it's a safe risk. And hooker coverage with mid coverage as well. Sean Russell on the bushes. You know what? He actually looked really good in the trials. It's the fittest I've ever seen him. At that price point, it's a safe risk. Not someone that I'm going to go for, but there's a lot of upside. But I don't think he'll go much lower in price. So it's a high risk, low risk, high reward kind of player. Ethan Sanders from the Raiders. 95% of coaches will be running with him. Again, he could be a slow burn cash person. He could just be a passenger and not hit the light shot, shoot the lights out. However, he's a safe risk as well. Lasardi from the Storm, him and Joe Chan are both playing on the edges this week. So I feel like these two are battling it out for one spot. So if Lasardi doesn't make it, Chan makes it.
Yep.
It's not much of a difference to go up to Chan. I think he's 310K. So I'm watching this very closely as well. And the person that is on the right-hand side for the Storm out of those two will be, I believe, the highly favoured one to fill in Eli Katoa's spot.
Yep.
Paxton had a bit of a run for the All-Stars game, and he didn't do anything spectacular, but he just did his job. And, doing your job gets the numbers and gets the points. Basement price, 250K. You can't lose anymore. We can lose 20, but I doubt it. There's so much upside and potential. That's why he's almost 30% owned. Jesse Colquhoun, he's got an opportunity to cement himself in a spot until McInnes comes back. So my main concern with him, the risk is Toby Rudolph was named at lock in the week 1 of the trials. And I feel like come team list, because this is what I was talking about, moving him to the bench, is if Toby Rudolph is the preferred lock, you're stuck with Jesse Colquhoun on the bench getting minimal minutes, and you wouldn't be able to shift him out the mid. So I think Jesse Colquhoun's got the edge over Toby Rudolph, because I think Rudolph's more of a prop forward. However, coaches have sprung a few little surprises on us fantasy coaches before. So moving him to the bench allows a bit more flexibility with your team come week 2, round 1. Tommy Chester, basement price. You have him down there to hopefully make some money and jag one really good score and then get those price rises and then jump off and get the next one. Ryan Couchman, the Roach, because he's got a brother called Toby Couchman, which I call Touche. The Roach, Ryan Couchman, even if he gets a bench role, his work ethic and drive is he was actually favoured over Toby when he first started in the NRL. He had until he succumbed to an injury. An ACL. He's coming back from an ACL, but his trial matches have shown that he's still got that tackle efficiency, work effort, line speed, off the ball efforts. And what I mean by off the ball efforts is they're defending and the ball goes left and he's on the right side. He's still working hard on the opposite side of the ball and shifting left to cover the space. So I think he's a must in your team. I reckon he'll accumulate points at about a point a minute. So even if he gets 30, 40 points, he'll get 30, 40 minutes, he'll get 30, 40 points, in my opinion. Shane Flanagan released a statement on Fox Sports yesterday and pretty much said 7 of the forwards have been confirmed and 3 yet to be determined. Those forwards are Damien Cook, Toby Couchman, Ryan Couchman, Leshona Leilua, and Saleh. I'm missing one. Ryan Couchman, and there's one other edge forward that they've selected, but Hamish Stewart wasn't listed on there, which was a bit surprising for a lot of coaches. I will be watching. I'm just concerned of minutes with the Dragons and mouths to feed and who gets what role and what minutes. So looking at your team right there, having Ryan Couchman as your emergency kind of there, I'd move him up to position number 5.
Yep.
So, for example, if Ryan Couchman gets a 60-point score, you want that 60-point score in your team. Now, how would you get that 60-point score if he's on your bench in your emergencies at position 5? That's a great question. Thanks, Youngie, for asking me.
Yeah, no worries.
I would consider swapping out a Sean Russell or Brandon Smith for a Macassini. Having a non-player that's going to play in round 2, you will have a player that doesn't score above him, which will mean the next person in the scoring position on your bench, which would be Ryan Couchman because he got 60-odd points, would get those 60 points for your team. And you're bringing in a player that you're probably going to bring in round 2 anyway, after the round 1 bye of the Tigers.
Who are you saying to get rid of?
Oh, I'm just saying in this situation right here, just say that's your bench composition as it stands. I would probably swap Russell around with Colquhoun, Paxton and I'd probably swap Brandon Smith with Colquhoun in this situation right here. But just for the purpose of this demonstration,
Yeah.
I would probably see you later, Brandon Smith, drop him down to Macassini and just go, you know what? It's a free trade. You're going to bring in Macassini round 2. If you're not bringing in Macassini round 2, then you haven't been watching any of the trials or fantasy football. He is
How do you
fantasy relevant and
how do you spell Macassini? Whatever.
MAK.
There it is.
There you go. He is what you want for your team, but you don't really want a red dot round 1 unless Ryan Couchman scores you 50, 60 points or 45 points or whatever you feel happy on the bench.
Yep.
Then you can put a Macassini there. That red dot there will automatically activate Ryan Couchman's score to your total.
Yeah. Yep.
That is what I'm going to do with my team. And I am going to work out the player that I least like in my team. I'll move him up above Ryan Couchman and I'll trade him out for Macassini.
Yeah.
So you got a little bit to play with. You got the last week of trials this week, and that will really, when you get your first team lists and that, watching the trials will give you a baseline of your team. But because round 1 is split over 2 weekends, you really need to be careful. And some of the considerations is having the gun players that are playing in Vegas in your starting team.
Yep.
And being flexible with week 2 of round 1 so you can chop and change and you're not getting stuck with a 250k player in the mids and you have to bring in another mid, but there's no mids available at 250k.
Yep.
So that is just like a little bit of brand new players 101 fantasy football. I don't know if I've articulated that well or have explained it that well. It's going from a player that's played for 13, 14 years to, hey, this is how you play it brand new, glitter gold stars and the likes. So I'm hoping to being able to show it on the screen and visualize it.
Yeah.
We'll be able to allow viewers to get a rough idea and understanding of how that's what I mean by the staggered rounds and all the complications that fantasy are throwing at us.
Yep. Do we want to look at some of the week 3 team lists?
Yeah, we'll quickly go through some weekly 3 team lists. We'll go through them quickly, so I won't go through all 30 players listed, but players of interest, we'll go through the Rabbitohs. They've listed their start. I think they've laid their cards on the table and listed their full team. Yep. There's no real surprises in the team except Ash Ward is the number 7, but I feel that's the cover for a few injuries and everything like that at the moment. And
Manly. Nothing.
I'm just looking through to see if there's any curveballs. Another one which could potentially sneak their way in is the Adam Elliott's and the Lockie Hubners.
Yeah.
But that's kind of expected team list. My concern was with the Bronson Garlic and the Mamazulis and how that affects Brandon Smith. Manly, they're resting Tommy Turbo and getting it run through the legs. Zach Docker Clay and Brendan Wakeham are really down on the pecking order, which looks like Jake Simpkin might get an 80-minute role.
Yep.
Joey Walsh is that young up-and-coming half that everyone's frothing over.
Yep.
And I would be interested to see his minutes. And, yeah, Hugo Hart is just holding space for someone else, I believe. But if he can really play well, he can solidify a spot. Next game. We got the Wars and the Finns. And, again, it's so good to see not an under-20s team listed. I feel like there's a few players. Tanner Stower-Smith, he started a run from the bench last year. He gets a good starting gig. And I think they're missing Mitchie Barnett from their list. Yep. And I think Tamari Martin's got injured, but they also have got what was the other half for the Wars? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Nah.
Um,
Oh, no.
give us 2 seconds and I will get his name up because it is fantasy relevant. So don't
Yep.
go jumping on Luke Hansen
Yep.
because you might go but dip
Yep.
Chanel Harris Tavita CHT.
Yep.
He'll likely be there, or Luke Metcalf if he's fit and firing. Trey Fuller's an interesting one, but you don't see the hammer there.
Yep.
I personally think hammer will be there. Trey Fuller just goes to the
Who's Hammer?
extended bench. Hamaso Tabuai
Yep.
Fidel.
All right. Yep. Yep.
Sorry about my short terms. And also, Donahue is not playing at hooker at the moment, but
Yep.
Brad Schneider's snuck in there. So it's a bit of a concern for Donahue owners, myself included, on how Brad Schneider plays at 9.
Yep.
Next, that Macassini guy, that kid has got some talent. So I'll be round 2. He's in my team. Adam Dewey, he's at value half to consider for round 2. And there's no Terrell May, but he's going into my team in round 2. He is my set and forget captain for the year. And I think Terrell May's comments last year about not making New South Wales is further going to be affected this year with the addition of Adam Fanua-Blake are available for New South Wales. So therefore, for me, Terrell May is a must in my team because I don't think he's making Origin, and he's my set and forget captain.
Yep.
Jock Madden.
Can I ask you a quick question? Are the Tigers going to be any good this season?
I think so. I think Kai Pearce-Paul, he's going to unload his offload. I think Newcastle said not to use it, and then you see him in All-Stars games and other games where he lets loose and fires.
Yep.
So I feel like his second phase play is going to really assist the Taylor Mays and the Macassinis and the likes. I don't have them cracking the 8, but I have them winning a few games they shouldn't.
Yep.
Jock Madden, I believe he should be at number 7 and Dahui should be 13, just because I think Jock Madden has that more game control, game management.
Yep.
Albeit Adam Dewey's got a good boot on him. I just think Madden has a better game management.
Yep.
Panthers, good to see a pretty much full squad there. I see them running out for about 40 minutes and then swapping out with their juniors after half time, the rest of the big boys. But nothing surprising there in that team. He's just a placeholder for Scotty Sorensen or Liam Martin.
Sharks and the Raiders.
The Sharks, no surprises there. And I see Dane Laurie at fullback. I've seen the trial before they had him in the halves. I think Dane Laurie's going to be the Mr. Fix-It on the bench for the Raiders.
Yep. And
they're just trying him in a few different positions to see his versatility. He actually played a really good game the other in the trials, so it'd be interesting to see how he goes at fullback as well. And the guys that didn't play in the other trial, like the Jaden Brayleys, the Zach Hoskins, just starting to get some numbers through the legs in different roles.
Yep.
But nothing surprising in that. Sifa Talakai, the guy we're talking about, is coming to the Bears. Official. Number 14 for the Sharkies. He can play centre or edge.
Yep.
And the Chookies and the Eels. Now, this is a interesting fantasy relevant. So I was interested to see Connor Watson on the bench and Blake Steep at lock. I think that will switch around in a non-trial game, but I could totally be wrong with that interpretation. But that looks like a full-strength Chooks lineup, barring the right centre. I think we're missing. I forgot his name. Pauga's usually a bench centre. Oh, you think I'm a Chooks fan? I can't even remember old mate's name and the centres. How good am I?
You know a lot more players than I do.
Fantasy football really helps you knowing players as well. You get to find the junior kids and watch them develop. And Billy Smith is one centre, and Tommy Talau might be missing. I thought there was another Chooks player that Oh, Robbie Toyer. I knew there was missing someone. Queensland State of Origin rep. How do you not have the Toyer? But how do I forget him? So yeah, Powgers is getting legs in there for Toyer. Now the Parramatta Eels. There's a few players of interest here that Moses, I think, is good. Jermaine Hopgood had a bit of a low year last year, but could come back into
Yep.
form. I'm really liking Jack Williams as a DPP, and if he gets an 80-minute edge roll, I
Yep.
feel like he's late little steps towards the line, gets a few line breaks. But there's a lot of mouths to feed at the Eels with Tuolungi and that not even getting a run.
Yeah. Are the Eels going to do any good, you reckon?
I've got them in my top 8.
Yeah,
If Moses is fit, the Eels are going to do good.
I was just looking at some of the players they got in there. Like I don't know a lot of the players, but there's a few that stand out. Like, obviously, Sean Russell, because he's signed to the Bears. Josh Addo-Carr, because he used to play for the Bulldogs. Mitchell Moses. Then you got Junior Paulo.
Jonah Pezzett's going to the Broncos next year, but he was at the Storm system, and he's really, really good. Just doesn't overplay his hand. Mitchell Moses' kicking game can literally change momentum of a game and that territorial advantage. A lot of young kids with a lot of Will Penasini plays a lot better with Moses, so that's why I've got him in my team for that upside there. Riley Smith, I really like him as a hooker, and you got Talon De Silva from the Tigers that came over there. I still have Riley Smith above him.
What's Jack DeBellin? I've got somehow that name looks familiar to me, but I don't.
He was at the Dragons for pretty much his whole career, and the Dragons pretty much said "see you later." And he actually, if you see the interview, he actually cried. He actually didn't want to leave, but he was the guy that was accused of that indiscretion and had time out the game. He was playing for New South Wales and that. He's come back, solid player.
That's where I know the name.
He's getting a bit of age now. He's not going to shoot the lights out, but he'll do a job and probably be supplemented by Dylan Walker, who had a throbbing year last year.
Yep.
As we said in the thing, Suafea Longo, watch him, see if you like him in your team and how he converts. But he is excitement to watch whenever he gets the fullback jersey. Joe Chandler-Sardi, they're fighting it out for the edge spots. And they're still missing a few players and resting a few players on the Storm team. Keanu Keeney, rate him as a player, rate him in fantasy. Just, I don't see points with the Titans this year. I feel like they're a couple of years off. Cooper Bye on the bench could easily swap over for 13. He played 13 in the trials. He's the future. I really liked what I saw of him in the small minutes that I've seen of him. Cleese Haas, he could easily go on the front row. Tino can go to the lock. Randall can go to the bench. Randall's Mr. Fix-It. Jaden Campbell, what a talent. Holy moly. He's just excitement overload. If you have him in your fantasy team, you'll have a fun year watching him play. He is the heart and soul of the Titans and just a talent. I like having players you like watching, like the Tedescos, the Jaden Campbells, the Harry Grants.
Yep.
And is there one more?
Nope.
And that's it. We've gone through that one already previously. And, good to see Cameron Murray back for the Rabbitohs. But, that's the team list for this weekend's trial. Recommending the trials. Don't just look at the fantasy scores because you don't know how many minutes they played or what role they played in the game. You actually need to watch the game. Some coaches just get them out there for 20 minutes. Yep, seen enough. Have a rest. You've got your spot or you've got your runs on your legs. So it's now just working out, do you believe that person's going to play the role that you envisage them playing in the team, and how does he fit your fantasy team?
Yeah. Now, we've got our own fantasy league, an open fantasy league going. We've got a few people on there. I'm trying to find...
Let's share that code on the socials.
Yeah, I'll just get it back up there.
Share.
And I'll get the code. I'll add the code to you. Yeah, I've got to find... Yeah, get that code going again. We'll get it out there. Go to invites. There's my code.
We
There's
won't
the
put the
code.
code right now, and it's too many letters and numbers to remember.
Yep.
Right
I'll put
now,
it in the.
so
It'll
what
be in the
we'll do,
comments. In the comments. Look down in the comments.
we'll do a post on our Instagram and that as well. We'll put the
Yep.
code and share it. What are we going to do? We're going to for the winner. Are we going to do a head-to-head comp, or are we just doing the overall league? What do we want to do?
It's an open comp at the moment.
Yep.
And we also got the footy tipping on our website too. You can sign up to do footy tipping. And we're trying to work out.
Wait.
Yeah, we're trying to work out. I'm just got to work out what the prizes are going to be. So
Look,
before we publish them, but we'll have something.
Join up to the Open League on the Bear Facts, and what we'll do is we'll work out some. We're not made of money, but there'll be a small prize and maybe something donated, hopefully from the Perth Bears, is what we'll aim to try to do. But we're still in the early stages of building those connections. So let's just go with we'll try to get something from the Bears, some sort of merch or something like that for the winner. But yeah,
well, we're going to be getting our own merch. We're going to do our own merch so that we can send them a Bears Facts merch pack as well.
Yeah, we'll work something out. Well, once we work out the minute details of awards, we've got a whole long season. Join up, see how you go, and the winner will get something special from us and the team.
Sweet.
I'm happy to give cuddles, bear cuddles, bear naked cuddles.
Yep. Well, anyway, watch your spot. We're going to be doing lots of things, and our main channel, like the main podcast that we do on Tuesday nights, there's all links on there. We're doing heaps of things. We've got the trials for the cheerleaders that we're setting up.
Woo.
So what we're going to do, we're going to go out to some of the local games.
Am I in there? Did I make the cut?
Oh, we're doing a fundraiser for you.
Oh wow!
We
put a hammy.
We're doing a fundraiser. Then you'll be part of the team.
Oh sweet! I'll wear my mini skirt any day of the week, and
So we've got heaps of things happening throughout the season. If you're in WA, we're going to head out to some of the local games and bits and pieces and fly the flag, and you'll be able to come out and meet us and say hello.
Oh, honestly, thank you for everyone for jumping on board. Yep. I hope today's fantasy lesson is a little bit makes it a little bit clearer for the people that don't really understand. And as we go week by week, it gets a little bit easier and easier. It's just the start is so complex and so hard. And if you don't get your start right, it can really make it difficult to come back from.
In the AFL fantasy, there's a little bug where you can do a tweak with your captain and your vice captain by having, I think it's your captain on the bench.
Oh, you can't do that on this one.
And then what happens is if your vice captain scores goes better than your captain, you can swap your captain out for a sub. You can sub him out because he hasn't played yet, hasn't been locked in, so you can sub him out or take the captain.
You can do that without the whole team here, but the captain and vice captain are locked.
Yep.
So once you select them in here, they're locked. You can't trade them out. So say, for example, you have your vice captain as Nathan Cleary.
Yep.
And he's playing in week 2, and some reason he doesn't play, you can't trade him out.
So I can change them whenever I feel like it, though, if they're not locked.
Unlimited trades throughout. The only time they're locked is if they've played.
Yep.
Or they've got the VC and the C.
So the next lockout is in 11 days, 19 hours and 6 minutes. But obviously by the time we get this up this afternoon, it'll change.
Are we going to do a draft? We'll talk offline on that one, and that can.
Yep. No, sweet. All right. Well, thanks for joining us again, Scuba Steve. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back next Tuesday, unless we do a special in between.
Next Tuesday is the biggest one of the year. It's the actual start of rugby league football. It's a teamless Tuesday. I've been waiting. This is Christmas for me.
Yeah.
I'll actually I'll wrap myself up in a present and I'll unbox it on next Tuesday. I promise you that right now, Squiz. I'll literally put some ribbon around me and I'll unbox it for next Tuesday because Christmas. Rugby league's back, baby.
Yep. All righty. We'll see you next week.
Ching Vegas.
See you later.
Gotcha.